All right, we're going to go ahead and start the next section. So this is going to be titled 5.2. It's a good idea to have the date. I think, what is this, the 7th? Yeah. It's always a good idea. So the title of 5.2, and we're not going to have a lot of new definitions because we're going to be working with the same thing for a while. It is going to be solving systems solving systems of equations with substitution. I probably should say solving linear systems. So I'm going to put that right here. The reason why I don't have it in the title is technically you can use this technique even if they're not linear. But in Algebra 1, we're only going to do linear. But it does work for nonlinear, and we're going to get into nonlinear after Chapter 5. Chapter 6 is when we start nonlinear. All right, so I'm going to write down some steps. And I actually should also put this. Today we're only going to do level 1. Okay? I like to look at this chapter like a video game. With the graphing, we really only had one level. You could argue we had 2 levels where you had slope-intercept form or non-slope-intercept form. But this is going to have multiple levels, and just like a video game, each level gets harder and harder and harder. And so at the end of the chapter, if we're good at level 1 and level 2, but we're bad at level 3, level 4, you're going to have some choices where if you have a level 1 and level 2 problem, we're going to use this, and maybe we're going to use a different method if it gets too hard. So we're going to actually have to analyze and see which way we want to do our problems at the very end of the chapter. But for now, we're just going to do level 1, systems of equations. And I'm going to write the steps for the whole thing. We're probably not going to use all the steps today. Okay, so step 1. Okay, step 1, we're going to solve one equation for a variable. Okay, so I'm going to write that, and then I'm going to write something different. We're going to solve one equation for a variable. Okay, it technically can be any variable you want, but basically what you really want, this translates to you want usually, not always, but usually one line in slope-intercept form. Okay. So we want one line in slope-intercept form because, again, even though we're not graphing, we have 2 lines. We have 2 linear equations. So you want one in slope-intercept form, and you're good. You don't have to have both, just one. Today, both of them are going to be in slope-intercept form. Okay, step 2. Okay, step 2 is we're going to substitute I don't know why I switched to red. We're going to substitute step 1 into the other line. Okay? And you don't have to understand any of this right now. We're just writing these down so I can refer back to them. So we're going to substitute whatever we got for step 1 into the other line that we didn't use. Okay, step 3. We are going to substitute the answer from step 2 into step 1. Okay. I'll probably write these directions in a different way next time. And that way you can figure out which directions makes the most sense to you. Okay, we're going to start here, but this is basically the max level is where we're going to have to do work on every step. Okay, the level 1, we're not going to have to do work on every step because that's how level 1s work, right? Level 1s are supposed to be like kind of a tutorial, or, you know, everybody's supposed to be able to do it easily. That's, you know, if a video game had a really hard level 1, would anybody ever play it? No. They'd be like, this is too hard, I don't want to play it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do an example here. And it's important for us to know that we are going to have pretty examples. I don't know why I did that. Of course, no one can see that on the video, but I clicked the wrong button for sure. It is important to have pretty examples, because if we have pretty examples, then it feels good, the answer feels good. In real life, you could have all kinds of decimals, fractions, whatever you want, but we don't want that. So we're going to do this right here. Okay, there's one line. And here's going to be another one. Okay. So I'm going to look at step 1. Solve one equation for a variable. Basically, I need one line in slope-intercept form. Okay? They're both in slope-intercept form, basically, right? So I'm going to go ahead and write step 1, and I'm going to circle it so I don't mistake it for a number. And I'm going to pick one of these. And I'm going to pick the easiest one. Which do you think is the easiest line to maybe work with? Probably this one. So I'm going to pick this one. Can you pick the other one? You can, but I'm going to tell you, in this one, you're going to get confused right off the bat because it won't make much sense. But this is about as easy as it gets, right? What do you think the value of y is going to be for my final point? It's going to be a 5, isn't it? Isn't that what that says? Y equals 5. So technically, this one's so easy. This is almost a level 0 where I don't even have to do all the steps. Okay, step 2. It says to substitute step 1, which is here, into the other line. So I have to substitute this into this. What I mean by that, and this is kind of the harder concept, and again, we're several months into this course, and so you wouldn't want to start with the beginning. If this was in August, this would be really hard. Okay, so I'm going to substitute basically y equals 5, right? So I want to substitute, what do I want to substitute for y? I want to substitute 5. So this is how I do that in step 2. Y equals 5 equals 5x minus 15. Okay, now what do you think I need to do? Can we solve for x? Sure, why not? It should be something we can do. So this would be like plus 15, plus 15. Divide by 5, divide by 5. So I'm going to flip this around. Actually, I won't. And probably off the screen. Okay. I'm going to circle that. Now, what I usually do is I do step 3 up here, except for step 3 is already done for me, isn't it? What does y equal? Okay. So I'm going to circle it because it makes me happy to circle my answers. What's my final answer? 4 comma what? Oops. I did something weird there. 4 comma 5. That's it. Okay. So this step, once we started it, did we do anything new? Is this just solving a two-step equation? Okay. The hard part about this is we have different parts of the problem. The whole purpose of algebra is to break up a huge problem into smaller bits. And so this particular type of problem is never going to be more than 3 steps. I might do work in step 1. I might do work in step 2. I might do work in step 3. I will tell you that step 3 is always the easiest step. It is always the least amount of work. Most of the time it has more work than this. So I'm going to go to one that actually involves work in both steps. Okay, and so I'm going to show you the next one. This is going to involve work in both steps. Here is my problem we're going to solve with. And again, my answers are going to be nice and pretty. I'm going to make them nice and pretty. We don't have to do real world stuff yet. Okay, step 1, pick a line. They look about the same to me. That one and that one are about the same difficulty, right? Okay, I'm going to pick a line, and I'm going to write it here. I'm just going to write this one because I feel like it. That's the one I want to do. Doesn't matter. It's solved for y. I prefer it in slope-intercept form. I will show you a different way to do it at some point, but this is the way I prefer it because I'm used to this. I've practiced putting things in slope-intercept form. It's probably the easiest to continue doing that. 2, I'm supposed to substitute whatever I did here into, okay, and I don't like my pink marker and I keep losing my yellow marker because I use it so much. So let's see if this yellow marker works. So I'm supposed to substitute this into this, right? So let's see if I can do that. Negative 2x minus 1 equals negative 6x minus 13. Basically, I just stuck these two together, right? They both equal y, so I stuck them together. So what do I do now? Yeah, let's just keep going. Remember, I like my x's over here, and I like my numbers over here because it just looks prettier. You don't have to do that, but that looks prettier. So I'm going to add 6x to both sides. That cancels. Negative 2 plus 6 is going to be. Okay, now I'm going to add 1 to both sides. That cancels. Add 1. And this is going to end up being 12. Then what do I do? Divide by 4 maybe? Okay, did it. Am I done? Step 3. I'm supposed to substitute my answer back into step 1. And that's why I write down step 1. So I do all my thinking to start the problem, and then I can just go. Okay? So I can just go. So I need to substitute this back into step 1. So by that I mean 3y equals negative 2. Instead of x, what am I going to write? Okay, I just took this and substituted for x right here. Okay, and is this just calculator? It's not algebra at all. This is always going to be just, this is the step you show, and then you type it into the calculator. But remember, you got to show your work, so definitely show me this step, because this shows me you know what you're doing. But then it's just calculator. And this is going to end up being negative 2 times 3, which is negative 6, minus 1, which is that right? Is that what your calculator says? Or am I just making stuff up? Because in school, it's not making stuff up. It's called fiction, right? Am I allowed to do fiction in math? Okay. While you're kind of thinking about this, you already have your worksheet, don't you? Let's transition from notes to your worksheet. And we are going to do the first problem together. But I'm going to go slow. I want you to beat me. I want you to try to do this the best you can. I want you to be able to get this done. Okay? Do you have room to do this on your worksheet? No. Am I going to try to even come close to trying to read this? If you do it on your worksheet, no. I'm not going to bother. Do it on a separate sheet of paper so you have plenty of room. Is this problem going to get longer? Not today, but it will. When we get to level 2, level 3, level 4, it might be longer. And so you need to be in practice doing it the right way. So I'm not even going to get out the worksheet. I'm going to go directly to writing it on my paper. Okay, and I am okay with this. We're on number 5, right? I'm okay with you just starting with 1. I don't need you necessarily to copy the problem if you don't want to, but I need you to do your work here. I'm going to copy the problem down because I like to, and this is for a video and they need to see the problem. You know, I'm okay if you want to do planning on the worksheet. I'm about to write the wrong problem. The second line was, I think, is this right? Yeah, no, that's not right at all. I think I started writing a different problem than that. I think that was number 7 that it was writing. Is that what I was writing? Or part of number 7, part of 5? I don't know. Whatever it was messed up, and if I'm messed up, I'm starting over. This is what it should be, right? Y equals negative 7x minus 23. Y equals negative 5x minus 17. Which one are we, just so we can do it the same way for this one time, which one are we going to pick as number 1? Does it matter? Usually when it doesn't matter, I just go with the first one. Okay, step 2. Substitute. And I'm going to substitute all of this into this. Go ahead and see if you can get it done, and I'll continue to work it out. And make sure that you have this good. Okay, did I do a good job? Although I kind of smunched it up. Is this all we did? Okay. So we're having little power flashes. I wonder if it's going to affect the video. That'll be interesting. I'll watch it later. It's really cold and the wires are waving in the wind. And we're getting slight power flashes. Okay. I see a lot of people's pencils stop moving. I think you can do this. I think you can, cancel out these X's on both sides and see what you get. What do you do to both sides? probably you're going to add, what, 5x to both sides? That's not the only way to do it, no. You can do it your way, but I like to put all my x's over here, so I add 5x's to both sides. Some people hate that because we'll end up with a negative number still. Okay, and that is a negative, right? Is that right? And of course I like to cancel and I like to mark through things. Okay, what else do we need to do here? We're going to add, do I want to add 17 or 23? I don't want all my stuff over here, do I? I want to cancel out 23, so I'm going to add 23 to both sides. And I think when we do that, we get something like 6, maybe, give or take. Now what ought I do? Very good. And I got half my answer already. Hopefully it's right. According to the thing that I have here, it is right. So that's good. All right, the next thing I like to do, and I messed it up, and I knew I messed it up here, so I have to put another little, some people like to do step 3 underneath, but I like to do step 3 right by step 1 because I'm going to use step 1 again. I'm going to do y equals, and I need to take this, so I'm going to do negative 7 parentheses, negative 3 minus 23. Okay, and remember, the reason why I put the parentheses here is negative 7 parentheses means negative 7 times negative 3. Just like here, that means negative 7 times x. So what I've set up here is just a calculator skill. Make sure you set it up right to get the right answer. You don't have to use a calculator, but you can. Okay, I'm going to do one manually in case you don't have a calculator. Negative 7 times negative 3 is 21. 21 minus 23 is... So either way you do it, you're going to get the right answer. Okay, I will get somebody on the test that will take a level 4, level 5 problem and do all this and come up with this and come up with this and feel really good about themselves because they did a really hard problem. And guess what? I just got this problem wrong. What did I do wrong? Okay, I didn't make any mistakes here. There's no mistakes that I see at all, but it's still wrong. I didn't write the answer. I didn't write the point. So make sure if you're going to do all the work, get the credit. Okay? Right? Okay, and x first always, y second always, right? And if you can't remember which comes first, it's just the alphabet. X, Y, Z, right? Okay, I'm going to turn this off.